drafting the greatest Philly sports moments of all time.
And so when we talk about moments here, are we talking about...
I was just gonna...
Yeah. Can you break it down? Like, describe what a moment is?
Yeah.
Like, what is it like?
So, first...
Is it like a great moment in a game? Or is it like winning the World Series? Like,
I think that,
I feel like either
winning the World Series would count as a moment because there is a moment where on that final pitch the Phillies won the World Series.
Okay.
So that's your moment. You
would
can't
the
take
final
the whole
pitch-
series.
Would the final pitch be the moment? Or is when, like...
The moment would be
How
like
narrow
the
of a
2008
moment?
World Series would be when the Phillies won the 2008 World Series.
the win.
And that would be like,
Pitch
technically
and
the last
celebration.
pitch and the celebration, but like, it's them winning the World Series. That's the moment.
Technically, I would say a parade moment, Jason Kelsey, would be separate.
That's different.
From winning.
Exactly.
Because that's a different
exactly
moment
what I
in
was saying.
time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while winning the Super Bowl is a relatively broad moment, that's still a different moment than, say, Jason Kelsey giving his Super Bowl speech.
Yeah,
in
that's the
Like
distinction.
that, there's differences there.
Yeah.
Got
And
it.
I don't think if you say winning the Super Bowl, I don't think you get the whole game.
No,
You just
because
get,
there's
like-
pieces of that game that
Yeah.
are big moments in themselves.
Yeah.
So winning the Super Bowl is
Winning
more
the
of like
Super
a
Bowl is when that
collective-
ball hits the ground and they celebrate.
It's like that final play,
That's
the
winning the
celebration.
Super Bowl.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Like, I would argue there's more... I'm not even gonna... Nope. Yeah.
Nope, we
so,
just gotta go into it.
Okay,
Because I
so-
know exactly what you were gonna say.
Yeah, it's a specific moment.
Okay.
We're each going to be drafting 4 moments.
4 moments.
This is the same as our Phillies, or our best looking draft, me, Luke Parker. All right, I said that I think there's a clear number 1 moment,
You're gonna take it.
and so I think I have to stick with that, and it's the Tom Brady Hail Mary falls to the ground, time expires, the Eagles win their first Super Bowl ever. And Merrill Reese says,
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
and at that moment, the streets are flooding, everyone's going nuts, the
Light poles are
confetti's
going
falling,
Oh, that's
everyone's
such a-
running around
Cars are getting
screaming,
flipped.
people are eating horse poop. But yeah, the moment that the Eagles won their first Super Bowl ever in franchise history, and specifically that Merrill Reese call, it just chills.
Wow.
I'm genuinely shocked that you picked that.
Think about your experience in that moment.
No. I believe
We were jumping
I
around,
am entirely
jubilant.
that is a great pick, no doubt. Top 3 pick for sure. The fact that I did
Number 1?
not think that was going to go number
Really?
1 though. What I'm going to take is what I thought would have gone number 1, and that is Philly.
You want Philly?
In my opinion, I feel like that, like,
Ready?
just encapsulates what that Super Bowl was. Like, and I think that the win is obviously huge, but I think that Philly is an even bigger part of it. Just because, I don't know. It's like, at the end of the game, it was a Hail Mary, and there was defense played, but it's, I don't know. I think Philly
like
is a bigger
both of
part.
those.
I think they're both great picks, and they come from the exact same game, which ultimately stems to that Super Bowl win. Very different.
So wait,
moments, but-
what if I picked that Super Bowl win? Does that count?
I wouldn't pick this.
I just picked
No,
that.
you picked the last throw.
No,
That's when they won.
That
okay.
is the win.
Oh,
that's-
okay.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I was gonna try and cheese that.
I think there's one other play from that Super Bowl that rivals.
100%.
there is, but is it up there though?
No, I don't think it's a top
I don't think
3.
it's a top 3.
Right,
No.
right,
yeah.
exactly.
I considered that, and then the reason I walked away from it was because it was in the first half, and like many things still could have happened.
yeah.
But I understand just the iconic moment.
Yes.
Yeah, both of those great moments.
Mm-hmm.
I like how yours was like an overall of the Super Bowl, almost like the final play. And yours
That
was
sigh of
the
relief.
greatest
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
That's the sigh of relief and the greatest play in that
Okay.
game. Both really, really great. I think I'm gonna go a different route here. One that we weren't alive for. Okay. So an oldie.
Boy, you're still my pick.
Not nostalgia for us, but nostalgia for people that are like 60 or 70, right?
It's going way back.
And that would be the 1982-1983 season when the 76ers swept. The finals when they swept the Lakers and won the NBA championship with Moses Malone. They recruited him for a reason. Such a huge moment for 76ers fans. That brings us back, the old players for the Sixers that Luke doesn't know.
I didn't even know that happened. So.
It's just an iconic moment, especially for Sixers fans who had gone a couple seasons before that, close but no cigar. This was the first breakthrough moment.
And it was revenge against the Lakers, right? Because they lost to them in the first. Yeah.
They lost right before that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Huge moment, and that's like a very important moment in Sixers history.
I have a play from that series that I was considering. I personally don't have like that, like when those Sixers won that in my head, but I'm sure the people who were live back then, like that's definitely a big moment for them.
Yeah. And then I think I'm going to take a more recent moment now, because you got to diversify. You know what I mean? You got to diversify. And, the guy to diversify with, his name is Bryce. His name is Bryce Harper.
Which Bryce moment?
And this one, so for me, this is my biggest, this is more of a selfish moment. Yes, it's a huge moment, but it's also the earliest baseball moment that I ever remember, honestly, because I wasn't big into baseball when I was younger. And that's Bryce Harper, Game 6. They're down 3-2 in the 8th inning.
He took loose. Oh no.
Okay, this is crazy. Bryce Harper.
I knew I should have taken it number 1.
That's a great pick.
Steps up in the 8th inning, and this is honestly the earliest baseball moment I remember. I wasn't into baseball when I was a kid, and so for me, this is like
great pick.
This was only like a couple years ago, I think. But he just
2022.
He kills the ball, and then like basically the announcer's like, oh my God, Bryce Harper!
That's not what he said.
Bedlam at the banks, the swing of his life.
The swing of his life. And everybody, I remember getting like tingles on my entire body as I was watching that, because I was watching it live. And I just remember.
And Luke's gone.
Luke's like,
I had tingles too, Parker.
And it was just like, you could feel the energy of the crowd.
Yeah.
And it was just like, holy cow, like, I understand why people like baseball in this moment. Like, for me, I was never...
That's how you know it was a great moment, when Parker was like, baseball is amazing.
Yeah. I think I wanted that moment more than I wanted my number 1 overall pick.
Now's a great time to realize that.
The problem is, like, in my mind, I think that's number 1.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to discount... Because it didn't win us a championship.
Super Bowl,
That's the problem. It was the NLDS. It didn't win us the championship.
It wasn't even the World
NLCS,
Series.
sorry.
Sent him to the World Series. But yeah.
It did.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and so now with this next moment, I'm having a lot of trouble deciding.
I think you saying you had chills is actually, that might be a better... I think for us, that's a really great way to judge these moments. And for you guys listening, how to judge these is like, yeah, the emotions in that moment, you had chills, like what it brought out of you.
Yeah, and
so maybe it's like most chill-inducing moments.
Well, and I
in
had
Philly history.
to take a new moment, because my first moment was one where I wasn't alive for it, and none of us were. It was an iconic Philly moment, but we weren't alive for it. So, but I still think it's like an insane moment for 76ers history, like really, really insane. So I wanted to grab that one as well.
Man, that makes me really sad. Actually, very, very sad. I'm glad that you won this draft, Parker.
Wow! 2 picks in?
Let's go!
No, I don't know. We gotta see how the rest of the draft pans out,
Parker.
but I am so sad that I did not get that. I wanted that so bad. I'm gonna take another Phillies moment right now, and that is Roy Halladay's perfect game.
Ooh, okay. I was between perfect game and no-hitter.
I was too. The
Tell
only
us
reason
why.
I went perfect game is because there have been, I think it's 20...
27, 28.
That was the 20th now. His was the 20th. There's more now. I don't know how many there are now.
In the 20s still. I don't think we've hit 30.
Exactly. And if you think about how many pitchers have pitched and how many games of baseball that have been played over hundreds of years, it is a feat that is only accomplished by the best of the best, by so few players. And while a no-hitter in the NLDS was a great, like that is an amazing accomplishment. I mean, it happened to the Phillies last year, or 2 years ago. And, I feel like that's a more common thing. And so I think throwing a perfect game has a whole nother level of an accolade to it than just a regular no-hitter. And granted, it's postseason no-hitter, and it had a lot of significance. Mm-hmm. But a perfect game, I feel like, has a lot more accolade than a no-hitter. And that's why I'm taking the perfect game.
Okay. That's a great pick. Both of the Roy Halladay moments were on my board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that makes my decision easier. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah.
I'm still not
Those were
sure
the two I
I'll pick
was
the other
going
one,
between.
but if I have to end up deciding on that one, I'm not going to take that right now. So I've got back-to-back picks here. I think the easy choice here, I'll take another Sixers-Lakers finals moment. Allen Iverson steps over Tyronn Lue.
Yep, that was my...
I know about that one.
That one's just amazing.
Oh,
we
it's
weren't alive for it. We just missed
That was
it.
one of the few Sixers moments I had on my list.
And that's how you know it's an iconic moment.
Iconic. That is iconic.
It just, Allen Iverson puts up a 40-something point game 1 of the NBA Finals. That was the exclamation point. They won the game. It gave so much hope. Obviously, they didn't win the series, but just that moment is peak Allen Iverson, just so perfect.
Yeah.
An amazing Philly moment.
That is a fantastic moment. Yeah. That was on my board too. I was like, I like that one. They didn't quite win the championship, so I was like, I can't draft it first overall. It's not worthy of a first overall.
Yeah, I would agree because it's game 1 of finals. So now I think I have a really tough choice here. There's 2 that I'm going between.
They're the 2 I'm going between. I hope you take one of them because
man.
that'll make my life easier.
Okay. I think I need to, like Parker, I need to snag an older... I think I can balance out really well here. I have 2018, I have 2001. Let's go back to 1980. The Philadelphia Phillies win their first World Series in franchise history. So now I have 2 first ever franchise history wins because the Phillies, 1980... They were founded in 1883. They went 97 years without winning a World Series.
That's entire lifetimes. People were born, lived to be really old, even 20 years over the normal life expectancy age, and still died without seeing a Phillies championship.
People who saw the Phillies start as a franchise and lived their whole life.
I feel so bad for those people. We have it good.
It makes you really thankful for the teams we have. So, just that amazing, iconic moment where Tug McGraw throws his arms up in the air. They finally won. It's in Philly. Phillies 1980 last pitch win their first World Series.
Not where I was going, so now I have to go back to a decision.
I hope the one that you take is the one that I was also considering, because
if it's not, then...
If it goes undrafted, then I'll feel bad.
We will have a section for honorable mentions.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to go with this. This is just a moment, one of the earlier moments that I don't remember the specific game, but I remember seeing it and knowing about it now to this day. And that's D-Jack's Miracle at the Meadowlands.
Part 2. Or number 2.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a great one.
And
That is a good moment.
I think every time I watch that clip, I get chills. I can, I just remember the clip. It's got the little lights around the scoreboard because it's Christmas time. And just a great moment. Just D-Jack's putting his foot down on the Giants and just a great time to be an Eagles fan right there. Well, maybe not, but great time to, Eagles in that moment. Beating the Giants is always a win. So, I love that moment.
And you're drafting the moment, but the context of everything before it too.
Exactly.
We were watching that game at my house, and I remember I was so young that I don't even remember. But I remember at some point we switched away because they were down 31-7.
Exactly.
And my dad was like, "Let's watch something else," and we switched back when they scored the touchdown to tie it, and we were like, "What just happened?"
Yeah.
And then Deshaun Jackson, they're supposed to punt it out of bounds. He muffs it. And then runs it back.
Yep.
He's running. I remember being so freaked. I was like, why isn't he running in the end zone when he's zigzagging? I didn't realize he was stalling for time. And then that's a really good
moment.
one.
That's a huge moment. Yeah, it's such a good moment. I have one that I'm set on, so I'm going to draft that one, and then I'm going to figure out my last pick. There's a couple options. I don't know if I want to get too crazy or not. I could get really crazy.
Oh, boy.
But with my third pick, I'm just going to go another moment from the Eagles championship game. I wanted to grab them later here.
Yep.
The Brandon Graham strip sack.
Yeah, that could have gone higher.
It could have gone higher. That's what I was going to
had to be drafted.
Sack and D-Jack's moment.
It had to be drafted. I don't have a football moment yet. And so
Great one.
I needed to grab
That's a
this
great-
one.
great pick.
Yeah, he basically almost sealed the game, practically sealed the game.
Steal it your third pick too.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
100%.
It fell.
It fell on the draft board, and it was just a momentum shifting game because
It was
whenever Tom Brady has the ball,
Exactly.
it's scary. And so getting it out of his hands, literally, just by being more physical, just oh man, I love it.
and the fact that it was Brandon Graham. of
Yeah.
all- like that's the
Just an
perfect guy
iconic
to do
Philly
it.
guy to do it.
Yeah.
and he's gonna live in infamy forever in Philly. His name will never be forgotten now.
Well, he'll live in infamy in New England. But he'll live.
That too.
Oh yeah,
Because infamy
Yeah.
is usually with a negative connotation.
he'll live famous.
He'll be immortalized.
Yeah, he'll be
There you go.
immortalized in Philly. That's right.
How crazy does he get now?
Yeah, I could get really crazy. I wanna probably save it for an honorable mention though. I don't think it's worthy of getting quite drafted. So we have a couple different options here. Do you want me to tell you what they are? No, you guys pick after me.
You just
right?
need to, you just need to draft it.
Okay.
Just send it.
You
because-
can't give us. Yeah.
Send it. This is your.
All right. I believe this was the final moment of the 2008 World Series for the what's it called? The Phillies.
Phillies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lodge striking out.
Lidge.
Lidge striking out Hinsky.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So winning the 2008 World Series.
Winning the 2008 World Series.
That's a very good one.
Obviously, I don't remember this because my
Yeah.
earliest baseball moment was like a couple years ago. But
Parker's still two of my Phillies. That's where I was going.
Wow.
basically,
Parker's sniping
it's
you.
it's super important. I mean, the
Yeah.
Phillies hadn't won since when Owen, like
In the 80, yeah.
1980.
28 years.
Yeah, 20 years, and like I'm sure for baseball fans, this was like a huge moment. Like this was like, man, the Phillies did it. Let's go. And
And the Lidge pose is iconic.
Yeah.
He's like down on his knees. Yeah.
thank you. So that's where I'm gonna go with my last pick. I think it's
good
worthy
pick.
of getting drafted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Championship.
All right.
Definitely worthy.
Yeah.
I'm drafting this. Could be controversial, but it's maybe one of my favorite moments, so I'm gonna go with it, and I'm just gonna go with Hungry Dogs Run Faster.
Okay.
Jason Kelsey in the mummer costume.
Great.
On
Yes.
Broad Street.
Yes.
I think that's just such
Yes.
a great moment. It's so iconic. I feel like that moment, right? Like Jason Kelsey has always been a legend, but that moment I feel like is really what started his reign into like Philly legend,
Yes.
like icon. And I mean, with the mummer suit, like it was just perfect. He was the perfect person to deliver that speech. He was the perfect person to deliver the hype at that parade, and I still get chills watching it to this day. Of just like they did that, he did that, and Hungry Dogs Run Faster.
Yeah. Great pick. That was.
Love that.
I was between this one and the one that I'm about to take, and that one for my last. So I'm glad that got drafted.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it was worthy of it.
just so good. Yeah. Okay, so to wrap up the draft, I will be taking when Ben Simmons hit his 3-pointer. No.
I was gonna say. So
The crowd went nuts because he finally hit a 3. No, that was an iconic moment, but not quite up there. My last pick to round out the draft, I will be going with Roy Halladay's playoff no-hitter.
Yeah.
And I will counter Luke's argument of it being less rare. No-hitters are less rare, but
But in the playoffs,
it is only the second ever no-hitter in the playoffs. And still to this day, I believe, there's only been 2 no-hitters in the playoffs in history. Don Larson, perfect game in 56, and Roy Halladay with a no-hitter in 2010.
the Astros no hitting the Phillies.
Oh, dang it. But that was a combined. So there have been 3 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
There have been 2 by one
Complete
pitcher.
game no-hitters. Yeah.
Yeah, good pull. I've kind
That
of
was
blocked that out of
combined?
my
I thought
memory
it
because it
was-
was the Phillies. Yeah, they used like 2 bullpen guys.
Oh, you're right. It was.
Yeah, I've blocked that out the best I can. But
You've done a good job.
yeah. So the Roy Halladay and the last play specific because technically, if we're doing a no hitter, that's like a whole game. That's kind of broad.
That's fine.
The specific moment of the last
Yeah,
out, Brandon Phillips just kind of like dribbles one up the line. Carlos Ruiz has to like pick up the ball, avoid his bat, throw it from his knees. Like such a dramatic last out. Also, everyone's holding their breath. Like, oh no, is this little dribbler of a hit gonna ruin this? That would be the most Philly thing ever. No, he gets it.
Yeah.
They win the playoff game. It's again in Philly. I think that's a kind of a crucial thing. No, never mind. Just my 2 Phillies ones are in Philly because the step over was in LA. And then the Super Bowl was just in Minnesota. But yeah, I think that's just an incredible Roy Halladay
Great pick.
moment. So
That's great. I love that. Should we do honorable mentions or
Yes.
should we recap
Yeah, we
our? All right, so I had Harper's home run in Game 6, and then obviously it was in Philly. Everybody went crazy. Lidge striking out Hinsky, for the 2008 World Series win. 76ers sweeping the Lakers in the NBA championship in the 1982-83 season with Moses Malone, and the Brandon Graham strip sack in obviously the Eagles Super Bowl win.
Great draft.
those are great moments.
First overall pick, I had Philly special
Such a good
in the
play.
2018 Super Bowl. Second pick, I had Roy Halladay's perfect game against the Marlins. In third pick, I had Miracle at the Meadowlands Part 2 with Deshaun Jackson. And then my fourth pick, not the fourth overall. My fourth pick, Hungry Dogs Run Faster, Jason Kelsey Super Bowl's parade speech and the mummer costume.
Man, I think this is going to be a really tough
Yeah,
one for people to
there's
vote on.
so many good.
I don't envy you guys. Man, my draft, the Hail Mary falls, Eagles win their first Super Bowl. The Tug McGraw gets the strikeout for the final out. The Phillies win the 1980 World Series. Allen Iverson hits the shot, steps over Tyronn Lue, and Roy Halladay completes his postseason no-hitter. Those are all stacked, I think.
Those are great moments. Those are some awesome moments. So it's gonna be hard for people to vote. I honestly don't even know.
That was
who
a
I
fun.
would pick.
That was a fun
Yeah,
draft.
me.
That was a fun draft.
That was a lot of fun.
I'm really sad I didn't get Bedlam at the Bank. I really wanted that one, but
Yeah.
I think I didn't go with it first because I didn't expect you to draft it.
Right.
I think that was my problem. I think I was like,
I did
You're
pull a couple
expecting it to get
baseball
back.
ones.
You
pulled a
did.
couple
I was
baseball ones.
thinking, okay, I'll get the turn. He'll probably go Eagles Sixers here with this one too, and then I'll get Bedlam at the turn. And getting that with the second pick is a steal. Because if I would have went Philly Bedlam, that would have been crazy. I would have been so happy with that.
Yeah,
but
that would have been wild.
I think I didn't think about this before, but I think having like moments that have names is a big like help in this draft because it's just in somebody's mind. Like Hungry Dogs Run Faster, Philly Special, Bedlam at the Bank. Like just when a moment has a name, that's a pretty good sign.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah,
Sometimes the name is just 2018 Super Bowl win.
that's a nice ring to it.
it's a pretty good win.
That's a pretty good ring.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds pretty good, honestly.
Almost sounds as good as the ringing of the bell in Philadelphia. Next episode's
The
draft.
bell doesn't ring; it's cracked.
No,
I mean, they ring it.
the one at Citizens Bank Park.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, they
Ring
do.
the bell.
yeah. I know. I'm just like,
Yeah, the fake bell.
yeah.
But yeah, this episode's draft was very fun.
That was a good
Comment
draft.
who
I like
you
that
think.
draft.
Comment who you think had the best team. As always, next episode, it might not be as fun of a draft if we end up doing the heartbreaking moments.
Why did we have to think about that?
So stay tuned for that. Comment if you want us to do that also, and just be sad for about 20 minutes. Everybody who watches this who's not a Philly fan will really enjoy that episode.
They will.
Yeah,
If you are a Philly fan, join us
especially
in
if
the
it's
misery.
with a team that